Hi, my name is Emily. I'm 19 years old and I have bipolar disorder. From seventh grade until the summer going into college, I had gone through four different therapists. Every time I would get a new therapist, the process would sort of start all over again, and you would think it was going to get better, but it never really did. And that is because I was constantly being misdiagnosed with just depression and anxiety. I had finally started seeing my last therapist, and her name was Deborah. And I would say maybe 1 or 2 weeks later, she came in and said she had looked through all of the journal entries that I had brought her and like really looked through her notes, and she had determined that she thought I had bipolar disorder. And so she asked me how I felt about that. And I told her that that felt right. Bipolar disorder seemed to describe everything I was feeling, but nobody had ever taken the time to listen or look through that as a possibility until Deborah. I don't ever have balance in my life. I constantly live in two different extremes. For me, it's like constantly being on a teeter totter, like at the playground. Um, I'm either extremely manic or I'm extremely depressed. I feel one way or another way far too intensely. I don't know how to moderate it or keep it balanced. When I'm in a manic cycle, I'm extremely reckless. You're just bouncing around, doing whatever your brain tells you and not thinking twice about it. And so you have all these ideas and all this energy, but you can't necessarily focus on any of it because you're thinking about 12 different things at once.
Optimistic, and I feel like I can
do
anything.
like
I'm
I
on top
want
of
to
the world,
drive,
so I make all
4 days
grand
without
lists
sleeping.
of things that I want to
And
do.
then you might get moving 2 hours of so scattered, but you
I just
wake
have
right back up again. So much going on inside of my head. I would explain the depressive cycle as just being completely drained. I'm usually just in my bed. I'm sleeping for 12, 14, 16 hours. The sun will rise and set while I'm still asleep, and I wouldn't notice and I don't care. And when I wake up, I'm still just as tired and I could still go back to bed. When you wake up, you realize, oh shit, I've wasted the entire day, but you don't care because you don't want to be doing anything. And if you are feeling anything, it's just sadness, just a terribly, terribly intense sadness. With bipolar, you feel the two opposites of the spectrum, extremely. There's no warning, there's no trigger, there's no on the third Thursday of every month, I'm going to be manic. I have no idea when they're going to come and when they're going to pass. I'm a little bit less in control now than I was maybe like a year ago. But I mean, I'm also not nearly as bad and out of control as I was when I was at my lowest. But I am a little bit out of control. My living space, specifically my room, is the worst it has ever been, ever in my life. It gets a little messy here and then, I'm not constantly clean, but this has been the longest my room has ever been the way that it is now. I can hardly walk in it. So, yeah, it's not the best, but I wouldn't say by any means that I'm at my lowest. To my past self, I would say that it is okay and that it is not your fault. For a while, especially when I was misdiagnosed, I kept thinking that it was my fault because I would feel so happy and so good, and then it would come crashing back down again into another depressive cycle. So I always thought, this is this is my fault that I am this way. But if I had to say one thing to my past self, I would say that it's okay and that it's not your fault, and that you'll figure out what is wrong. You'll figure out why you are the way you are, and it won't always be perfect. It will never be perfect, but it will get better, and you'll get that clarity, and you'll understand that it's not your fault.